Type Soul update's finally here, and there's some pretty big balance changes. They incentivize more people to go full speed to nerf like 40-25. There's two new speed moves, Swift Slashes and Skyscraper, and they also moved Enhanced Steps up to 45, so 40-25 won't be as broken anymore having Enhanced Steps. Unfortunately, no Arrancar nerfs, but they did buff a lot of like moves, and they also added those pets, of course. But let's first get into the codes. So our first code is really cool code, hahaha. So let's see what that gives. Pretty big code. Next one is yes sir update time. Another decent one. This one's the big one though. This one has all the Halloween accessories in it, which I think is kind of crazy. Spent all that time grinding for those and now everyone has them. But whatever, let's get into the update log. Alright, so there's some new content. They added the new Halloween Shikai Reaper, which is one of those vials. Unfortunately, it's pretty mid in my opinion, so you might not want to go for it. There's some showcases up it already. There's the new Legendary Res Centaur, which is the Neliel res. It's pretty decent, it's got some cool moves, and it's really good on, I think, SR Keto. They reworked all the Yamatos, the Quincy, Arrancar, and Shinigami one. The Shinigami one's actually kind of broken. It like does a little dash, it like does the normal crit as was before, but then it also does a little dash midway through. And then the Arrancar and Quincy one both got reworked to be a little better. Like I said earlier, new speed skills, Skyscraper, Swift Slashes, and Blooming Cut is a partial rework and a passive. I think if you use anything higher than I think 45 or a really high speed skill point move, your Blooming Cut will go behind them, which is pretty cool. So maybe you'll see more people using that. There's a new Shinigami Keto Ultra Skill, Domination, and there's a new Medic Ultra Skill, Purgatory, or Purgatory, whatever you want to say it. There's a new Arrancar Legendary Weapon, Cloud Splitter, so I'm going to have to check that out. New accessories, the Shoulder Buddies, like I said earlier. There's a bunch of these. They've got really cool stuff. So they all have like, what's called passives that can buff different Shikais and whatnot. And I think they're going to add more of them for Arrancars and Quincy's, but right now most of them are for Shikai. And yeah, and the stats on them is mostly just mode gain and whatnot. There's no more increased defense and health, so people won't be as tanky, but some of them are pretty broken. Yeah, there's also shoulder buddy traits like on each one that you can roll for using Robux, or if you just get lucky when you get it. You can get these from Clan Wars, and I think anything that drops it, yeah. Raids, boss raids, Clan Wars, AFK. But yeah, so these traits are here. There's Kendo 1, 11% True Pierce, Kendo 2, 12%, Kendo 3, 13%, and Zanjutsu Master, which is actually the most broken one. It gives you 15% True Pierce, and Mortal Ties has a super big range, and it does way more posture damage. And then for Speed 1, you get Blooming Cut, more posture. Speed 2, Ghost Cleave M2 does more posture. Speed 3, Time Cut, less end lag. And Shunpo Master, Floating Strikes, does 99% posture, which I think is kind of crazy. People are always above like 1% posture, so this will always GB. And Medic 1, Reiatsu Ren Guard Breaks. Medic 2, Reiatsu Push Guard Breaks. Medic 3, Selfless Heart, less self-damage. And Medical Master, Extricate Essence, less self-damage. And Healing Circle heals the user again. Selfless Heart hurts you less, and Reiatsu Push Guard Breaks, which I think this is kind of broken. This is amazing for medics, so can't wait to see more of that. Keto 1, Preserved Reserves, higher Ray Regen. Keto 2, Shakaho, cast a bit faster. Bring back its guard break for real. Keto 3, Preserved Reserves, higher Ray Regen, so I think this one's probably a higher than this one, the Ray Regen. And Keto Master, Kyo Shibari, 1.3 seconds of stun time. The yellow or black slash, move guard breaks again. Nice. Almighty, it gives every trait buff in one except for master traits. 5% overall damage boost on everything. Oh, Almighty is going to be the most broken one people are going to roll for. Alright, some miscellaneous changes. Massive memory leaks fixed, so hopefully there won't be as much like FPS issues and whatnot. Other various unlisted bug fixes. You should just list them so we know what's fixed, but whatever. Ito Kaso bugs fixed. I think they're talking about the one that throws you under the map. Fix and optimize Confliction. I don't know what that would do. Fix and optimize Arrancar Marsama. Cybernetic model bugs fixed. Shori ground glitching bugs fixed, so you won't get thrown through the floor again. Mobile auto run fixed. Auto tracking move issue fixed. So I think this is the one that has to do with like Vamp, like Phage, and some moves just not being able to use. Ethereal Vice bugs fixed. Slide issue with 0 ammo fixed. So Slide used to not give you your ammo back when you were in Quincy Car. So I thought that was a nerf, but apparently it was just a bug and they fixed that. Anyways, there's a bunch of new emotes. I'm not going to go through all those because it doesn't really matter. But here are some examples of the buddy passives. This one is the Keto one that gives you Kyoka moves are buffed. And yeah, Flower Passage unparryable is kind of crazy though. But most people can't parry that anyways. Another one here. And another one here. This one's actually pretty huge for Ice. If you're going Ice Speed, this one, Flashbang does increased damage. And it already does like 40 damage, so that's pretty insane to me. And Horizon Core, it's Frame 1 Hyper Armor back. Sheesh. And then the code's here again if you missed them. But onto the balance log. Enhanced steps SP requirement increased from 30 to 45. I think that's a good change. I think 40-25 does need a few more nerfs, like maybe increase like Crescent or like some of the things, so, but whatever. Heavenly Cannon cooldown reduction from 27 to 22. Heavenly Cannon damage buff from 30 to 40. Heavenly Cannon block broken damage percent from 50% to 15%. Is that a nerf? Yeah, I think that's a nerf. Decello swing speed reduced from 0.85 to... This is a big nerf to Decello, by the way. You might want to run like Heat Piercer or just go Ulk. Decello end lag decreased from 0.5 to 0.225. Pressure shift with end lag increased from 0.725 to 0.9. I think this is a good change. Pressure shift was basically unpunishable. Even if they whiffed it, they literally can just get up right away and get away from whatever move you're doing at them. So that's a nice change I like to see. Ghost Cleave feint animation speed increased by 30%. And Ghost Cleave end lag reduced. So I think they're trying to buff Ghost Cleave because it's a little underwhelming. Like you can just, most of the time, if people Ghost Cleave you, you can try to dodge the thing, and if they end up fainting, you can block anyways. So this might make it so you can't do that anymore. Dropping Fang, custom parried stun time of 0.2 removed and is now default. Time cut end lag decreased from 0.9 to 0.7. Flash cut animation speed increased by 25%. This is a huge buff. Like flash cut actually might be viable now. And it also does 60% posture now instead of 30%, which is pretty insane. You can use this to like combo extend or just start a combo, honestly. It's almost unreadable. Flash cut damage increased from 19 to 26. Flash fake out end lag reduced, so that's another buff to speed. Flash fang damage reduced, yeah, thank God. It literally did 10% before, and I think if you're in Visored or if you're in the Vastaquin thingy, or the Lets and the Vastaquin Lets, it does like insane damage. So Needle Break end lag reduced. I mean, I don't know who's using that. Clan overall posture got nerfed and clan overall health got buffed. Okay. Rankar Murasama critical now cancels on first parry. That's huge. A huge nerf right there. Because it's super annoying to fight that crit. Murasama crit unsheathed windup increased. Murasama sheath windup increased. Rankar Murasama speed decreased from 50 to 38, so it won't be as like unreactable. Quincy Murasama crit windup increased. Honestly, this one for Quincy, I don't understand. The Quincy Murasama was kind of underwhelming in my opinion, and then they increased its windup. What? Whatever. No longer need to hit someone with delayed crossings to get hyper armor, so I guess you can use that to avoid more moves. Horizon Core hitbox increased from 44 to 55. Horizon Core damage increased from 15 to 30, and then its cooldown was only increased by 5 seconds. That's kind of crazy. Horizon Core hitbox fixed, much more accurate now. We'll see. Might have to start running that. Horizon Core now is frame 3 hyper armor. They gave its hyper armor back, but it's not frame 1 anymore. Horizon Core True Pierce timer increased from 5 to 7. That's another Horizon Core buff. Okay. Unseen Blade now guard breaks in Visored. I wonder if it does it in Lets. Okay, Unseen Blade does 40 damage in base and 50 in Visored. I think that's a buff. I don't know if it did a lot before, but it's still true. Like, depending where they fall, Fast Fang is usually true. Unseen Blade cooldown reduced. Okay, so Unseen Blade is a lot more viable, especially if you're on Quincy. I think you should use Unseen over True Blood. Territorial Mark cooldown reduced from 120 to 100, and the duration buffed from 20 to 40. And Territorial Mark is now universal. It's no longer Hakuda exclusive. So we'll see. Maybe some people run that. I forgot what it does. I think it buffs your damage against them by 10%. But now once you kill them inside your mark, you get a 20% damage buff. I don't know how long it lasts, but if it lasts forever, this might be crazy for King of the World. Like you just pop it at the end of a fight and you get a 20% damage buff against the next fight. Thrust windup decreased by 20%. That's kind of huge. Thrust and Flash Cut are both very underrated moves. They're kind of like Bala, but for every race, and I think you should use it more often. SR Keto moves now have 5 reduced Ray take. Okay, so that's a buff for SR Keto. So Katsui hitbox width increased from 16 to 25. Preserved Reserved Ryatsu increased from 13 to 16%. Danku cooldown decreased by 15 seconds. Goriman Tetsu airtime duration increased, so it's now no longer as instant. So this is a free pressure shift in my opinion. I don't think you should be running the dragons anymore. Cooldown decreased from 35 to 30. Damage increased from 8.6 to 10. Block damage increased from 12 to 20. Maybe it might be more viable now, but I still think it's a pretty easy pressure shift, or just full block it. Status effects now last for 5 seconds. Okay, now that's actually kind of huge. It was already long before, but I think 5 seconds is a buff. For your Shibari, True Stun increased from 1.3 to 1.5. Geki Reko True Stun increased from 0.1 to 0.25. And Geki Reko no longer cancels on parry, so you have to hold F against it once you parry it. Byakurai wind up decreased by 25, and Fushigi wind up decreased by 15%. This one's kind of insane to me. Still Silver wind up decreased by 40%. This move is almost instant. I saw a friend use it, and you can use it off basically anything, and it's crazy. And Still Silver, I think, is the one that makes it so you can't flash step or use moves. So if you get hit by it, it's pretty punishing. Claver wind up decreased by 10%. I don't know her buffing Q-Keto, but alright. Serum W hitbox range increase from 12 to 14. Very small change, but might make it a little more easier to hit that. Full incantation can only work when a valid target is given now, so you can't waste your move and do it on air. And it does 30% damage? Why are we buffing Kyoka? Shatter damage multiplier is now 10%. Grand Raikaho damage increase from 30 to 40. And the True Stun increase from 1.1 to 1.2. And then dash duration goes a lot further. Like, imagine it like almost crosses a full distance of Mortal Ties. That's how far it goes. And lag decreased, should no longer grab more than one person. Minimum wind-up time to hit someone decreased from 0.3 to 0.2. Grand Raikaho dash speed increase, so it goes even further, and it goes a lot faster. That's crazy. Grand Raikaho knockback increased. This is probably to decrease the true combos after it. It's not true combos, but you can force a parry check if you just do like Grand Raikaho into like Shinten or like Haiyan. Grimmjow crit and lag reduced from increase from 0.3 to 0.4. Okay. Critical True Stun removed. Okay. Rapier critical should now function like K-Ring critical. I think that's a good change, because like Rapier crit was like just really weird. Like you couldn't move it, or like it was a little delayed. It was just weird. Rapier crit and lag reduced from 0.2 to 0.15. Odachi now has M1 hyper armor on the first swing. That's a pretty big change. You might see more people using that. Kyoko Odachi is kind of crazy though in SR Keto, because you got the clone coming at you with hyper armor M1s, and then they've got a bunch of SR Keto moves that can spam at you. So we might see more of that. Scythe critical True Stun increase from 0.2 to 0.35. Scythe crit guard break True Stun increase from 0.2 to 0.5. Hammer M1 speed increase from 0.8 to 0.9. Hammer M1 end lag increase from 0.4 to 0.47. Greatsword crit cooldown increase from 7 to 8. That's a minimal change. And then I don't know why they nerfed the damage. I don't think Greatsword was that broken. They could fix the M1 tech on that, and maybe it would be a better change than this, but whatever. Crit damage reduced from 16 to 13, and also full res Z was fixed. On release, you could literally just spam it without cooldown, so yeah, can't abuse that anymore though.